cut like paper, babe. Either come close or stay away.
Hello, my darling butterflies. So today in this video, I wanted to give you guys a crash course on how to take care and style your curly lace frontal units. Let's go ahead and get started. So for step one, this is a unit from WOWAFRICAN. I absolutely love the curls. Not gonna lie, my expertise is in straight hair. So a lot of the times when I do get curly units, I'm like, what the hell do I do? So I wanted to show you guys. So for step one, you want to make sure that you douse the hair with lots of water, and it helps if you start by sectioning the hair into two parts. So the top part I have in a little ponytail, and the bottom part I am just running my fingers through it, and I'm dousing it with lots of water in my spray bottle. Now, as you're doing this, be sure to get a deadening brush or a paddle brush or a weave brush, and definitely go ahead and brush the hair as you're spraying it. Now, the whole purpose of this is you really want to make sure you are getting the tangles free, but as you're doing this, you can see the way the curls were originally versus the curls when they're wet is it's giving you a nice looser curl, a little bit of a more wetter look. I'm kind of making up my own words as I go along, but I love the look that it's given it, and it's kind of giving it a different feel. Now, the curls will not revert back to how it looked when you first got the unit, like that crimpy curl. Instead, it's going to be this nice, soft, spirally curl. Next, I wanted to go ahead and pluck the unit, and this is very important because we're doing this unit very 100% entirely glueless. It's really important that it looks as natural as possible, and it's also very, very, very important that your hairline has as less amount of hair as possible, so that when it is time for you to lay everything flat as far as the baby hair and put it behind your ears, there isn't as much hair to get into the way and intervene. Next, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to use some setting foam. This is a new one that I haven't used before. I used it in my previous video, but it's my first time using it for curly hair. I am going to make sure that I put a lot of spray on the front of the hair, combing it in a backward motion, and then I'm going to separate the baby hairs and trim them nice and super neat. And then you want to go back in with that setting foam. Now, you can never use, well, you can't use too much, but you want to use a good amount so that it's shaping the hair and setting the hair to go in the direction that you want it to go. Now, eventually, it's not going to really stay like this once you put it on your head, but you kind of want it to start, you want to start training the hair to stay in this direction for when it is time to actually start to lay the hair like this on your head. So it's going to change drastically as we put it on our head, but that's okay. Go ahead and do the same exact steps for the next side. I believe we're on step 4 now. Now for step 4, I'm going to set the curls. And when I say set the curls, I want it to stay like this. Now the best part about setting foam is it does not make the hair crunchy. So typically, I would never use mousse onto my curly hair because I feel like it will make it look crunchy. But if you can see the difference between the left side and the right side, one has a neat uniformed curl, and the other one just looks like I just did a spiraled, low-key, not good wash and go. So there definitely is a difference. Now, what I like about the setting foam is it does hold the curls in place. It prevents the hair from swelling throughout the day, especially when it dries, without leaving it super crunchy and hard. And I also like this setting foam because it smells really good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just scrunch the curls out. They look like ramen noodles, which is a good thing because that means they're all in the same direction and they're all uniformed and neat. So this is the final spin around. Next, it was time for me to install the unit onto my head. I had just gotten a blow dry, so I put my hair in a low ponytail without any products because I was gonna do a high ponytail the next day. This is the unit. Now you'll see it did come with a headband, but when you do put it on your head, it is gonna have a different shape onto your head. Now I didn't like the shape of this. This was not something that I would approve of or wear onto the street. So I did trim off a little of the lace before I went forward and cut off all the lace because I couldn't see what I was doing. And I trimmed as close as possible to the hairline of the unit. The less lace, the better, especially when you're doing glueless, because you will not have the option to, well, you don't want to have the option, well, you don't want to have to spray the lace down and hold it down and all that kind of extra work. And that will happen if you keep any extra amounts of lace onto the unit. So just trim off as much as possible without cutting off too much lace, if that makes sense. But this wasn't looking right on my head. It wasn't morphing right. I didn't like it. Some wigs just don't, for me, look right in the middle part on my head. I don't know if anybody else has that issue. Am I yelling? I feel like I'm yelling. But some wigs don't look right on me in the middle part. So sometimes a side part is my saving grace, and it does help me out a lot. Now, I know you're probably thinking like, what the hell? How did the hair get like this? Well, I just did not like the way the front of the wig was laying on my head. So yes, I did have to mess everything up. And I went ahead and I blow dried the hair flat, okay, because it was just way too wet for me to hot comb, so I had to go ahead and blow dry it. And what you see me doing right now is I'm sticking the combs into my ponytail. It does not hurt, actually. So if you do have braids and you try to put the combs in, it will hurt. If you don't have braids, you're a-okay. This blow drying technique, I like to do this sometimes because it does flatten out the hair, so you can see how nice and flat that looks compared to how it did before. This process right here is going to take a little bit of time because as you're trying to swoop your baby hairs, it is going to, you know, move. The lace is going to move. It's not being held down by any adhesives besides setting foam. So definitely just be patient and be very gentle. And you can see I'm using my hand to hold it down just to make sure it's staying in place. And then I am going to go ahead and get my hot comb to just flatten it even more. But glueless is really the better option if you don't really care for using all that spray. So every now and then I do like to perfect my technique because I'm gonna keep it real. On a regular day, I don't really gel or spray my hair down or glue it down. I kind of do this. And you can see I had to pluck it out more so that it was much, much, much more thinner. Sometimes I feel like for me, I can't tell if I need to pluck out more until it's actually on my head. So, and I hate over plucking because then you just feel like you're kind of balding. Okay, so now what I ended up doing was just tying my hair down. I used a rope scarf. I do feel like when I do it with paper, it does peel up the hair a little bit. So I figured if I use fabric, it should prevent this issue, and it actually did. So I used a tie from my rope. Now what I'm doing is I'm going back and I'm setting the curls because obviously I just fudged it up before when I was blow drying it. So go ahead and just do the same exact technique, water and setting foam, and it will create these nice uniformed, full looking curls. Again, guys, this unit is from WOWAFRICAN. One thing I can say about WOWAFRICAN, they never fail their curly units. I think their best hair sometimes is from their curly units because this is so gorgeous. Again, this is 100% glueless. All I'm wearing is a headband that came in their unit, which I kind of took on and off throughout the video to make sure it wasn't pulling the hair back. But if you're looking for a nice glueless unit, this is the one for you. And if you're also looking for a nice glueless unit that has nice curls and will lay flat and is obedient, this is the one for you, okay? So as usual, I will have everything for you guys down below in the description box. And thank you so much, my lovely butterflies, for watching this video. Side note, I didn't have a name for you guys before. I really didn't, but I think butterflies are it because I love a good butterfly. I love beautiful butterflies, and you guys are all beautiful. All right, I'm just like talking. Bye, guys.